A mysterious creature was captured on a motorway camera in England. The creature, known as the Wessex Way Monster, or the Wessex Way Creature, and the highway crawler of England, is a peculiar humanoid that was captured on film on a highway in England, with the video being recorded sometime in 2007. Images in the form of still photographs reveal what appears to be a human-like head, with it having an upper torso and legs, and also having the ability to run on all fours. Interestingly, after this footage was released, it was reported that locals in the area said that police started to investigate the area, and that further sightings were made by people who allegedly saw a four-legged creature that had a strong resemblance to a werewolf. Investigations that were carried out after the footage was released didn't yield many answers, but strangely, some came forward and detailed that throughout the early 2000s, they had seen bizarre creatures roaming throughout the area. The eyewitnesses said that the creature looked like a werewolf or a large, hairy humanoid and had the ability to travel at extreme speeds, often being witnessed leaving an area before anyone could take a high-quality photograph. Due to the fast speeds of the creature, it led some to suggest that the creature wasn't anything natural, as at the time some were suggesting that the creature could have been a baby deer crossing the road, but others took screenshots of the creature and said that it didn't appear to look like any of the local wildlife, highlighting that this creature had what appeared to be arms and legs. One officer allegedly came forward and detailed that they had seen strange creatures throughout the Wessex Way region, noting that this location in Devon is home to many strange creatures, and that residents have been coming forward for years and describing their mysterious encounters. One eyewitness by the name of Mrs. Green said that she saw a creature that closely resembled the Wessex Way Monster and described it as a large, bipedal, canine-like creature with powerful, muscular legs, broad shoulders, and a pointed snout. Further saying that it must have been around 6 to 7 feet in length, looked like it had the ability to stand on its hind legs, had fur that was either brown, black, or grey, and also had glowing eyes and sharp teeth. As of right now, we have very little information to go by, and because the sightings happened over 10 years ago, it's been hard to track down any potential eyewitnesses who may have seen the creature. Interestingly enough, those who did see it suggested that it may have been the Dogman creature. One of the earliest known reports of Dogman encounters across North America would first be reported near the small town of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, after a series of sightings were made featuring a creature later referred to by the town as the Beast of Bray Road. Although this strange creature is now recorded as one of the most well-known creatures of the area, the original encounters and legends of the creature, dating back to the later 1980s or early 1990s, contain eerie similarities with more commonly reported Dogman sightings of more recent years. On the night of the 31st of October, back in 1999, a young 18-year-old woman, known as Doristine Gibson, reportedly witnessed what she described as a humanoid bipedal creature covered from head to toe in fur that wrapped around its entire body. According to the eyewitness, she had been driving along Wisconsin's Bray Road, a long stretch of road that resides roughly 3 miles east of the small town of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. As she was driving along the road, she claimed to have seen several animals running at the side of the street, most likely fleeing a large predator in the area. Once she reached the intersection of Bray Road and Hospital Road, the movements of the animals and the surrounding empty streets gave her a sudden extreme sense of anxiety, and so she began to mess with her car radio to find some music that could help ease her stress. As her attention was turned away from the street for a few fractions of a second, she claimed to have felt the car jump slightly and heard a loud thud as if her right front wheel had run over a small animal that was scurrying across the street. Worried that she might have hit something, as the 31st of October was the night of Halloween, the 18-year-old woman immediately pulled over to the side of the road. Stepping out in the almost complete darkness of the night, Doristine took the time to look around and inspect the road, though was completely unable to find any trace of her accident. Fearing that her car tire could have been misaligned and created the jerking motion of her car, the woman also took the time to analyze her car, but was unable to find any dents, scratch marks of misalignment that could have caused the strange thudding sound she had heard. It was at this moment in time, as Doristine was preparing to get back into her car, that she claimed to have noticed what she described as a 6-foot-tall, huge, bulky creature that stood several yards down the road staring back at her. Unsure of what she was seeing, she and the creature stood motionless for some time as they watched each other in total silence. However, without warning, the creature suddenly began charging towards the direction of Doristine as she heard the patterning of its feet loudly striking the road. Without a second's hesitation, the woman re-entered her vehicle, slammed the car door shut, and immediately started her car's engine to speed away. Unfortunately, the car could not start up fast enough, and the creature started to climb onto the trunk of the vehicle and slammed against the car's metal frame with several thudding blows. However, within a few seconds, the car soon sped away, causing the strange humanoid creature to fall off the vehicle and allowing Doristine Gibson to make a clean getaway. Shortly thereafter, Doristine arrived at one of her friend's house, with whom she had planned on going trick-or-treating with. Fearing that the other girl would not believe her story, Doristine failed to bring up her encounter with the strange humanoid creature, believing that her story would have been shrugged off as nothing more than a made-up Halloween tale in an effort to scare her friend. Doristine then planned that perhaps she would be able to encounter the creature again that night if she returned to town taking the Bray Road, to show her friend proof of her impossible-to-explain witness sighting. As the two girls approached the area of Doristine's original sighting, they claimed to have seen the dark form of the creature standing at the side of the road. According to her friend, the creature appeared to have been a fur-covered humanoid creature that walked with a slight limp as they passed by. The following morning, the two girls would come forward with their sighting to their friends, family, and neighbours, who would all wish to examine the car for proof of their claims. However, once examining the car, it became apparent that Doristine did encounter some type of creature, as the trunk appeared to have had deep scratches impossible to have been made by a person, and seemed to have been something out of a horror movie. Although Gibson and the other girl claimed to have possibly encountered a Sasquatch creature, many residents of Wisconsin soon came forward with their stories about an unknown humanoid creature that helped to shed light on the encounter, though failed to accurately explain what exactly was stalking the nearby town of Elkhorn. One such witness testimony would come from an older woman named Lorraine, who claimed to have spotted a similar creature back during the fall of 1989. According to Lorraine, she had been working as the manager of a local business, forcing her to stay late to help close up the store at the end of the day. On her way home, she had decided to take a less popularly used route back to her house and follow the Bray Road out of town. As Lorraine was roughly a half-mile west of Hospital Road, she claimed to have spotted what she originally believed was a person crouching at the side of the road. Worried that the person could have been lost and needed a ride, Lorraine began to slow down as she approached the figure. At first, she noticed that the figure appeared to have had strange eyes that glowed an almost reflective yellow, though assumed that the light could have been nothing more than a reflection of her bright headlights shining down the road. As she neared within 10 feet of the figure, it became obvious to Lorraine that the figure was definitely not a person. Lorraine would go on to describe the creature in vast detail, claiming to have gotten a perfect look at the monster before pulling away out of fear. The creature was described as being a large, hairy beast, featuring a human-like body, large barreled chest and strong humanoid arms, with dark greyish-brown fur that wrapped around its entire body, while possessing an anatomically correct wolf-like face with pointed standing ears that ended in a long pointed snout with massive fang-like teeth that were clearly visible from a distance. In the creature's hands, Lorraine claimed to have seen what looked like smashed roadkill with its entrails sticking out. Due to the popularity of the stories reported by Doristine and Lorraine, a local newspaper reporter by the name of Linda Godfrey had been alerted to the strange rumours of a supernatural werewolf creature and began a private investigation into the sightings that would later be published in the Walworth County Week, local newspaper. It was at around this time that the story of a wolf-like monster prowling around Bray Road would reach the height of its popularity, with local residents referring to the creature as the Beast of Bray Road, causing several more independent eyewitnesses to come forward about their encounters with a strange creature without fear of ridicule. The first eyewitness, a local resident by the name of Scott Bray, who owned a small private farm near the Bray Road and whose family name had inspired the naming of the nearby road, claimed to have seen what he described as a large wolf-like creature, estimated to have been the size of a bear prowling around the edges of his property. According to Scott Bray, He first spotted the creature sniffing around his pasture field, adjacent to his dairy farm. He claimed that the creature was much larger than a typical wolf and had dog-like qualities in its face, with dark greyish-brown fur, tall pointed ears and a long thick tail. Worried that the creature was stalking to make an attack against one of his dairy cows, Bray went towards the creature while armed. Once the creature spotted Bray, it immediately turned away and ran. The next day, Scott Bray inspected the area where the wolf had been sighted and discovered large dog-like paw prints, much too large to have been a typical dog or wolf, mixed with human-like handprints scattered throughout the area. Fearing that the animal might return when he was not around and possibly attack one of his cows, Scott armed himself once again and used the footprints in an attempt to track down and hunt the creature. After following the tracks for a few hundred feet, he noticed that the prints suddenly seemed to have disappeared, as if the creature had completely vanished into thin air. Although he would spend several hours looking throughout the area in an attempt to pick up a new track, no evidence of the strange, overly large wolf-like prints and the human-like handprints were seen elsewhere in the area. However, several days after Scott's sighting, another local resident claimed to have encountered an upright wolf that matched Bray's descriptions. According to a man by the name of Russell Guest, he had been walking near Bray Road, in an area completely overgrown with weeds and low-lying brush, when he heard rustlingly in the dense overgrowth. Wondering what could have been making the noise, Guest began investigating the area and shouting out loud, fearing that perhaps a large animal was lurking nearby, slowly waiting to attack him while he was unaware of his surroundings. After several more shouts, Guest claimed to have seen a large dog-like creature suddenly stand up out of the nearby bushes while walking slowly towards him on its hind legs. According to Russell Guest, the creature stood at a height slightly taller than 5 feet and possessed wide shoulders and was completely covered in dark fur. To this day, more than 50 independent sightings of the creature have been reported surrounding the small town of Elkhorn, and many hundreds more sightings of dogman-like creatures have been reported all across North America. So, what do you make of these mysterious sightings and encounters? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.